Well, hello there. Thanks for joining me. I'm Brad Caston, as you probably know, and I hope we had a great Friday. And I had a pretty busy day. It was kind of crazy. I had some issues editing my video that I put up this morning. I got the whole thing done, and then my program crashed. That was terrible. Right before I could save it. Oh my gosh. But anyway, got that re-edited and then posted. So happy about that. Did that interesting yellow and purple pour last night. That was a fun one to do. And but I've got all these paints left over from last night's painting, as well as a couple other paintings I've been doing. And so I thought I'd just come on live and do like a simple little painting. We can have some fun and mix up some colors. All my colors are already mixed. I have a bunch of random ones here. I thought I'd just use them and see what happens. And so I thought I'd do a bottle bottom pour. I haven't done one of those in a long time. They're fun to do. You always get some interesting results. And it's a pretty straightforward technique. It's basically like a puddle pour, only with something in the middle of your canvas. And you can get some interesting symmetry going on. I'm not a huge fan of symmetry in paintings, but it's a fun technique to play around with. So, hey, Sandra, thanks for joining us. So I thought I'd just do a little bottle bottom pour. And I broke out my spinner. I'll show you my spinner. It's kind of crazy. And just have some fun and do a demo and see what happens. So I've got like my little barrier up. Whenever I do like spinner things or my Dutch pour, I have this little barrier that I made. It's just this like corrugated plastic stuff you get at Home Depot. And I just glued it and stapled it to a little piece of wood. Hey, how are you doing, Mama Bear? Thanks for joining us. So this is my little kind of barrier, my splash guard, I guess you could call it. So I've got like one on each side and then one in the back. Because when you spin stuff, it'll splatter around. Dutch pour can go nuts and splatter all over the place. So I just set up my little barrier thingy. And it's simple to set up, simple to take down. It's very inexpensive if you want to make one yourself. I think it cost me about $15 or something like that. So really easy. So I can talk about that later if you're interested in it. But so I've got my canvas ready to go. I'm just going to do a square one. This is a 12 by 12. Square canvases or square formats are perfect for a bottle bottom because we're going to, we want a symmetrical design. Hey, Calzone Gal. Hey, Novala. And Zena, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I appreciate that. So we're just getting started. Hey, Kimberly from Ohio. Nice. Thanks for joining and jumping on the live. So I just showed you my canvas. We're going to just use a simple 12 by 12 square one. I don't usually do square formats, but for what we're doing tonight, it works good because we're looking for kind of more of a symmetrical composition. So I've got that prepped, and I put the push pins in the bottom instead of my hooks. And that's because push pins work really well with my spinner. Hey, Deborah, thanks for joining us. And so let me switch cameras, and I'll show you my weird spinner contraption. And then we can look at some paints and see what we're going to use. So I'm going to set this over here for the moment. And well, before I do that, I'll lift this up. So I used to be do a lot of ceramics earlier in my life back in college. I fell into ceramics. I loved it. And so I did a lot of ceramics. And so my spinner is actually a banding wheel. It's like a ceramics banding wheel. And maybe it'll be easier to show you like this way. So I have, it's a heavy duty thing. I forget the name of the brand. Nidec is the name of the brand. So this is what's called a banding wheel. It's about 15 pounds. It's heavy, but it's got a bearing in there. Like it's a really nice bearing. So it spins really well. And so I use these in ceramics. This one's a very low one. They make different heights. This one is the lowest one you can get. And then I built this contraption to stick in there. So my banding wheel is stuck into this plate. And on the plate, I've got these, you might not be able to see them. They're like little pins that are sticking up. Oh, that sucker's heavy. So, and then on those little pins, I make different sized plates for it. This is just a 11 by 14 plate. And then I can stick different sized canvases on this. So it's a kind of a complicated setup, but it works great for me. So I just take the plate and it goes right on my little pins. And then I'll show you how I arrange my canvas on there. Hey, Sylvia, thanks for joining us. And so it's, the banding wheels are a little more expensive than like the cake decorating wheels that are very popular for spinners. But I knew about them. And so I was like, that would be perfect for a spinner. The nice thing about them is they're heavy. So they're not going to flip over or move on you at all. And the other thing is, once you start spinning them, they'll spin for a really long time without having to, you know, respin and respin. But that's not so much of an advantage with a spinner because you're always kind of spinning a little and then stopping and then spinning. But that's what I had. So if you want to check into them, feel free. I think some of the cake spinners would probably be, well, they would be definitely more affordable. Hey, thanks for joining us, Facebook user. And and easier to find too. So the banding wheels you have to buy them from like an art supply or a ceramics supply place. But that's the one I got and that's what I'm using. So let me flip the camera and we'll take a look at some paints and see what we're gonna do quickly here. So let me flip the camera over. So here's my plate, and again, here's the plate, and I have these 4 pins, and maybe I'll show you a side view. There's the banding wheel, and then you spin that and it will spin for a long, long time. So stop that. And then, so my plate just sticks right on the pins like that. And then my canvas, I can use some different size canvases on this one, but I use the push pins on the bottom and I put it on at an angle. And so the push pins kind of lock into the sides of my plate, and then you can spin it and it won't fly off of the spinner. So that's kind of how I set up my spinner to work without, you know, canvases flying across the room and things like that. So it works pretty good for me. And I have a larger plate that's a little more advanced that is adjustable for different size canvases. I'll show you that one later. I didn't want to bust that one out. So I'm just using this simple one. So let's take a look at some colors. I'm going to move this over here. So these are all kind of random colors I've just had laying around. I've got this kind of crazy green color. This is I don't know what this is from actually. It's a combination of a whole bunch of paints. And I got some copper and I got some a really pretty green. This is a neutralized gray green. And then I've got Novala's dioxazine purple and Payne's gray. This is a great color. You came up with a winner. So we can use that. And then I've got like these are scrapings from my tilted off paint from last night's pour. So I just dumped them all in the cup and then covered it. And then we can, you know, I haven't even stirred this up. Let's stir it up and see what we got. This is going to be kind of a very light, kind of greenish yellow. I don't know if I'll use it, but you always come up with these crazy colors when you scrape up the tilted off paint. So that's kind of a weird color. I don't love this one. It's kind of I don't know what you call that, kind of a mustardy color. It's pretty, but not quite for this pour. I don't think we're going to use that. So, well, you never know. So I'll just wipe my stick off, put that one to the side, get a tissue, and I'll clean off my stick. And this one here is another crazy combination of paints. So let's see what this one does. This is going to be a dark, like a really dark, coppery blackish color. There'll be a lot of metallics in here. Maybe I'll use this as the base coat for our painting, our bottle bottom. Flying canvases are dangerous. Yes, Navala, absolutely. And Donna says she can't wait to see the huge tilting table. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the big tilting table, I have to get a totally separate, go in a different room for that thing. I need to set up my garage for that because it's so big. But yeah, the tilting table is a beast. Yeah, let's see. Mama Bear says, yeah, she had a canvas on a spinner and she spun it and everything fell right off. And yeah, that can happen. Yeah, once you spin those things and they want to leave, they'll fly right across the room. So you got to be careful with those spinners. So I like this color. This is kind of like a really dark pewter greenish color. Maybe we'll use this as the base coat. That would be cool. All right. So I'll tell you what my plan is. So I'm going to use like a dark base coat and then kind of go alternate between like a lighter color and a darker color, pouring on our bottle bottom. So we're just going to do a simple like bottle bottom pour. And I got to show you this. Okay, Donna said, this is hilarious. So I spun one and it stuck to my shirt. That's hilarious, Donna. Oh my gosh. I hope you have a picture of that. That was fantastic. So this is just a bottle bottom from, I think a water bottle or a Pepsi bottle or something like that. One thing I like to do with my bottle bottoms, which is a little different than other people have done, is I like to cut scallops on the bottom. So if you can see that, hopefully you can see that in the camera. So I cut little points in there, and then there's only these small points sitting on the canvas. So the paint can actually go underneath the bottle bottom, and it's much easier to pull it off when you're ready to go. So I found that helps a lot. Instead of using just a flat bottom, like this is just a flat bottom. Let me show you that one. That's a flat one. That's kind of the standard. I like to do something like this. So I have like a scallops cut into that. Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us. And so that's what I'm going to be using, this the scallop D bottom one. So, oh my gosh, this is funny. So Noah says, I still have paint in my ceiling from a flying canvas. Oh my goodness. Yes, these paints get everywhere, don't they? Oh, okay. So let's see. So we're going to have a bunch of different colors. I've got a couple different golds. I think that would be pretty cool. So this is going to be very neutralized, kind of pretty pour, I think. So I like these colors. I think they all kind of work well together. So let's set up our canvas and our spinner, and we'll see what we get. So let me bring this back over here. Okay. And good evening. Thanks for joining us. And so I'll put my little, oops, I got to put a base coat on first, I guess. So let's use this dark kind of pewtery color. Let's pour that on. And let me get another palette knife. Where is it? I'll use my great big one. I forgot to wipe my palette knife off last night. So all my paint is wet or is all dry on my palette knife. So I have to put that in some water and let it soak for a little bit. Then it comes right off pretty easily after that. But so I forgot about that. Donna, she loves the earthy tones. Thanks, Donna. Yeah, me too. So here is our color. Let me show you what it looks like. So if maybe, oh, it doesn't want to do it now. It's kind of a dark greenish pewtery color. I like it. So that'll be our base coat. Just spreading it out with my palette knife. And so have you done bottle bottom pours before? I've done quite a few of them, not a ton of them, but I haven't done them in a while. So we'll see what we get tonight. And let's see. One of our users says, you're not getting all the comments. That's probably because a lot of people are on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, you can't see the YouTube comments and vice versa. So if you're on YouTube, you won't be seeing the Facebook comments. Okay, so that's a fairly decent base coat. And I'll wipe my knife off. And thanks. Yeah, this is a fun technique to do. I like this one. Yes. All right. So the kind of the trick with the bottle bottom is we're kind of going after a more symmetrical pattern with this one. So we want to put our cup kind of right in the center. And one thing you could do if you are using a spinner, you can kind of quickly spin that and see if it's centered. Mine is not. Let's see. That's not centered. You don't have to get this perfect. I can see from the camera that's not centered. Do you have an easy way to cut the bottle bottoms? Let's see. This is a good question. Do you have an easy way to cut the bottle bottoms so they are level? Yes, that can be a tricky thing to do. Like this one, I have this one here that I have not cut all the way down yet. Like I haven't put my scallops in. But if you can find a line on the bottle, there's my Sharpie marker. Here we go. So if you can find a line like this line right here, and so I'm not going to draw all the way around this, but this line goes all the way around. So if you could get some tape and then tape from this line over, you'll get a pretty good line that goes around there. So yeah, tape, put tape around it is probably the easiest way to do it. So yeah. Yes, Linda, put tape around it. Great advice. Hey, Arlene and Linda, thanks for joining us. Okay, so let's see, am I centered? Not really. That looks better. That's pretty good. Now my canvas is not like perfectly centered on my my plate. Let's see if I can center that a little more. So my push pins are kind of trapped on the plate, so it's not going to fly off. That's close enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. So perfection is never attainable. So okay, so now what we're going to do next. So I have a dark base coat. So I think I'll start with a lighter color. What am I going to do? Maybe I'll start with the red and just try to pour in the center. And there's multiple ways you can pour the paint on our bottle bottom. This is I'm just pouring colors individually, but you could also layer your cup and then pour a layered cup on top. But you want to try to get in the center so the paint runs down each of the little crevices kind of evenly. So we got red. What do we do? A lighter color. I have this champagne gold. I'll put some of that on there. And looks pretty cool. What about some green? And you can do bigger layers or smaller layers. It's up to you. And let's see. How about some of this coppery color? And this is just the paints I've already mixed. They're leftover paints from other pours. All I've done is given them maybe a little bit of a stir, but some of them I haven't even stirred because I just used them last night. I want it dark now. Let's go to this. I'm going to go to the purple Payne's Gray. I'll put a little more of that on. So you can just go wild with layering and the different colors, picking them out. What do I want next? How about gold? I always love gold. And red goes really well with gold. I'll put some more red down. And the trick with doing this is basically a puddle pour. So we're just pouring the paints right on the canvas. For a 12 by 12 canvas, I can't even remember. I have to look at my sheet. But I think we need about 5 ounces of paint. But we're just dumping it on there. So we kind of have to guesstimate and make an educated guess on how much paint we need. I still need to put some more on, and then we can do a little bit of spinning and see what happens. I'm going to go to dark now. I have this other kind of darkish metallic, it's kind of a metallic pewtery black color. Put some of that on there. And let's see, now we need a light color. Let's go back to our champagne. So that's pretty good amount of that. And I think green, let's put some more green on. All right, so we're getting, I think we could put a little more. Let's do some of this copper. And what's next? Let's go with the purple again. And then maybe 2 more, and I think we'll call it good. Maybe some red. And then some gold to finish it off. Okay, so that looks interesting. I think we've got enough paint on there. We're a little off center, so my puddle is a little off to one side, but we're pretty centered. So now I'm going to grab something to stick under my bottle bottom. This is one of the choppers I use from like the dollar store. This is what I use for my floating cups and flip cups and things. So when I lift this up, I want to stick it under there so I don't get drips. So let's carefully see. I think we're done dripping off of the bottle. So I'm just going to carefully lift it up. Yeah, stick it on there, and away we go. So we've got, so the scallops, you can see everything can flow underneath them. So we have kind of an interesting center instead of a big hole in the middle. I never liked that, just having a big empty hole. So I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to just maybe move these paints out of the way really quick. And then we can do some spinning. And see what happens. Okay. All right, so let me move these out of here. So we'll give this a little spin. Maybe we'll just give it a little spin and just see what happens. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to go over one edge. Now, the other thing we can do, I'm going to just lift the canvas up, maybe tilt this down a hair, kind of center that puddle a little bit. Okay, so we don't have a perfectly symmetrical pattern, but that's okay. All right. Oh, we've covered a lot. A little more. It's looking cool. We have a lot of paint on there. I probably used too much. So so the other thing we could do, I guess, I don't do this very often, is create some designs in there. Let me get my little skewer thing. Actually, we could just use I'll get you my skewer. So we've got these big fields of gold. That's not like the most, wonderful thing. So we could try to, that's not quite enough. Create some pattern in there. The skewer is very fine. Let me try this. I can do a bigger one or a bigger one with one of our sticks. And just like to put a little interest in. I'm just playing around. So. Ooh. Let's do one down here. Oops. And so it's just adding a little bit of interest, and then we can spin it a little more, and that will change it a little bit. Another thing we could do, and Mina does this all the time. She uses these awesome combs, Mina Villegas, and they're really very cool. So you can get like these cool combs, and can drag some of these through there. Let's try that. So that'll add a lot of interest. And you got to be careful with techniques like this, because they can look, unless, it all depends on what you're going for, but they can look very contrived if you're really doing that a lot. So it's very fun though. So you have to be careful, because you'll be like, oh my gosh, I got to do that everywhere, but restrain yourself. Okay, that's all I'm going to do with the little comb. So let's do a little more spinning. Okay, what do we got now? All right. It sounds like it's raining outside. There we go. Now some of the gold has gone off the corners. I like that a lot. That's cool. Clean up my mess. So we could also lift it up and then do a little more. If you wanted to fine tune anything, you could do a little more tilting. We've covered all the edges. That's pretty nice. So you could tilt a little bit. But I like that one. That's kind of a crazy looking bottle bottom. So I think I'll probably call that, good. I like, let me set it on there. I like this big, I like that it's not symmetrical, actually. I don't really like symmetrical paintings. They just don't look right to me. It doesn't, I like things that are off center, and they just have much more interest. So I really like this big gold field here, and then we have these smaller ones. So I kind of like this one. So that is a bottle bottom, at least one way to do it. Let me flip over. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like that. So, let's see, let me flip back over. So that is our bottle bottom pour. That went pretty quick, but it's a fun technique to play around with. There's a lot of ways to do it. The spinner is really nice because trying to tilt those and cover the canvas, it's gonna get pretty wonky and crazy. You're definitely gonna lose your symmetry if that's what you're going after. So I've got a lot of paint on this canvas. We'll see how it dries. I think it'll dry fine. But that's fun. We played with some random colors and like leftover paints. So yeah, I like it. What do you think? Any other questions? Let's see. Kimberly says, want to hold a comb in the paint as I spin it. Yes, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Thank you, Sandra. Thanks, Zena. Yes, Navala's colors. Absolutely. That's a great color. Yes, that Payne's gray and dioxazine purple. That was her idea. And it worked great. So anything else? So I'll show you, look at, I made a huge mess. But one of the things I like, I'll flip the camera back real fast here. You can get some amazing patterns on your paper. Just a second. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. I'm going to just shift that over a little bit. And, but I wiped up some of them, but let me flip it one more time here. One thing I love about tilting and spinning is you get these crazy, beautiful splatters of color all over your, whatever paper you have underneath that. So I think, one thing I like to do, I haven't done it too many times. I've done it once or twice, but I put down some kind of a paper that is a non-absorbent, like a Yupo paper. It comes in rolls, and then you can spin a bunch of different things, and you get this amazing like tapestry of color. It's pretty fun to do, pretty incredible. So, but I just love, what happens as a result of our spinning. So let me I'll take this off of the spinner, and there, I'll set it right down. So that's our painting. I think it turned out pretty nice. Did a little comb things to it, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I like that color scheme together. I think it works well. So let me flip back. Yes, that's a great idea. Yeah, put freezer paper underneath your painting. That's what I normally do. Normally I'll have freezer paper under there all the time. And you could keep that, but if you wanted to actually use your tabletop covering as a piece of art, you need something a little more archival than like freezer paper. But that's, going into a whole nother direction. So, but that's our bottle bottom. If you have any other questions, and you could paint on it afterwards. Yeah, absolutely. So not super difficult. And then also, if you have your little bottle bottom, yes, dip cabochon. That's a great idea. If you do a lot of tilting and just do a lot of tilting of your paintings, you'll get amazing looking like puddles and pools of colors. They're wonderful. And you can use them as jewelry and all kinds of things. But I was going to say, make sure you wipe off your bottle bottom, and you can use it again for your next painting. And you don't have to, keep cutting new ones all the time. So, yes. So any other questions you might have? What are you going to do this weekend? Are you going to paint? I have a lot to do this weekend. So hopefully I'll get a couple paintings in there. And if I do, I'll share them with you. Maybe I'll do, I don't think I'm going to do any lives this weekend. I've just got so much stuff I have to get done. But I'll definitely be working behind the scenes, doing some paintings and other things. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend. So, oh, awesome. Mama Bear says she is getting ready for an art show. Congratulations and good luck with the show. I hope it's wonderful. I haven't gone to one I haven't gone to an art show in a long time, at least, taking my stuff there. Not since way before all this craziness happened. But you're welcome on. And oh, this is a great idea. Yes, flowers and star-shaped cookie cutters work well too for for this type of pour, like puddle pours and things. That's a great idea. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Donna. I will try not to work too hard. Hey, Barbara, how are you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Cal says he's working on a new holiday project. That's fantastic. Good luck with that. Navala is frowny face, happy frowny face. I don't know. But hope you have a great weekend, Navala. And so I will, if there's no other questions, I will say goodbye. And thank you so much for joining me and checking out the little bottle bottom. That was a fun painting to do. And if you have any questions, you could always email me or post it in the group. And if you're not a member of the group, I'll just throw that up there. You can always join my Facebook group, my private Facebook group at Acrylic Pouring Club. If you go over to Facebook and just search for that, it should pop up. And if you click the invite button, and I'll let you in. So you're very welcome, Mama Bear. I appreciate that. So I hope you all have a fantastic evening and a great weekend. And I will see you next week. And I'll be popping in the group throughout the weekend too. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them, and I'll try to get to them as quick as I can. So thanks so much, guys, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.